E te iwi tēnā koutou, kia ora tātou I tēnei pō. Kia ora everybody, Che Wilson here from Te Pai Pai Waho, sending a big mihi out to you all. And wow, the big moons have been amazing. Hoi anō, connecting to you tonight through a number of different platforms and continuing on with season 10 of our Manu. And the Manu that we're talking about tonight is the KERERØ, which is the principal bird for this time of year, and it's the Manu that is recognised as the Manu connected to both Puanga and Matariki for this time of year. And I want to acknowledge the KERERØ because, as you know, last week I was in the Chathams, and their version of the KERERØ is the parirau. And the parirau is a bigger version of the KERERØ. And they still have parirau. It's fairly endangered though, but they still have parirau, and apparently they're massive. Never got to see any, but yeah. So also, before I get into things, want to just have a big mihi to the whānau at went to go and have a kōrero with them about Puanga and to connect with both Brooke and Lou Walker, who are both from home, and they're wanting to learn more about Puanga and those connections back to home. So big mihi to you both. Ka te ake. Let's get into the mahi. So as I said, it's episode 14, and the kaupapa is KERERØ. And so the KERERØ, the wood pigeon, is a stunning bird. It's a beautiful bird when you see it fly, and it just makes a big whoof, 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 sound as it's flying. And they roost on certain trees, and there's a whole lot of kōrero about the KERERØ that I was raised with, and the importance of the KERERØ as one of the key sources of protein inland, and the importance of feeding that to our women, and especially to mothers who are carrying, because of the protein in it. In addition to that, inside the puku, when they're on the middle, and the tawa's a bit earlier, but when they're on the middle, you'd feed the puku to a pregnant mother as well, which would help to quell cravings. And I could go on about KERERØ, but I don't want to go on too long tonight because there's so much kōrero about the KERERØ, the wood pigeon. And one thing that's really important is, yes, it's been hunted and all of that, but the key killer of the KERERØ has been grass. What do you mean? Farming. So the fact that its environment was taken away, that the trees were cut, and as a result of all of the milling of our forests, its habitat went. And yet they've evolved now, and they'll eat plums and they'll eat all these other things. But that was one of the key contributors. There's this big myth that it was just because of poaching and all of that, when actually it was to do with farming, or the milling of native forest. Anyway, let's get into kaupapa number 1, or whakatauki number 1, Kauhau te KERERØ e ngunguru kauana. What this kōrero was talking about is, don't be like the KERERØ who only grumbles. Because what the KERERØ does is it flies to look for food, and it can fly a long way. And it eats and eats and eats so much that it just goes brrr, 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 brrr. And this whakatauki is said in different ways in different tribes, and this is the way it's said at home. And it's actually about people who just talk too much and don't do much action. They just grumble or just make a noise. And so don't be like the KERERØ who grumbles, because you might look good, you might look flash, but if all you do is talk, we want to see more action. And you hear that Steve Ngāti Parau do it quite a lot. He manu anō, ngā manu kai miro. And it's similar to the waiata that we sing. And hi, Mum. Hope you had a good night tonight. And it's that kōrero was all about the same thing as this. Ko te KERERØ and ngunguru kauana. Whakatauki number 2, Whatiwhati koanga parirau o Rupe. And this is a cool whakatauki, more so because of what it represents. And Rupe is the personification of the KERERØ. However, what it's saying is that the KERERØ flaps its wings as a sign of the new year. And as it flaps its wings, it's a sign that, as you can see in this photo, the feet are there. And if it was landing on that branch, which also had a trap on it, our tupuna would then pull the string, it would hold the KERERØ's feet, and it would flap. And that sign of the new year is this is the time that you would traditionally catch the KERERØ. And hence, Whatiwhati koanga parirau o Rupe, yes, they're flapping away, but that's a sign that you've caught the Manu o te tau, the bird of the year, the KERERØ. Kātiake, to finish up and to recognise that Puanga is also known as te puatawhiwhi o tautoru, the blossom in the trap of tautoru, the puatawhiwhi o tautoru. And so if you imagine that Puanga is a meadowberry, like these meadowberries, and the pigeon lands on the tree, goes to eat the berry, and as it goes to eat the berry, the person below pulls the string, Whatiwhati koanga parirau o Rupe. And to finish off, there's a little taki, a little tau, that talks about how this is, how you can see this with Puanga and Tautoru and a number of the other faint stars around it. And it goes like this. Mataia te rangi ko te puatawiwi o tautoru kei runga kei roto mai ko te tuke o tautoru kei raro mai ko te tātā o tautoru. Ti tika tonu mai ko te o tautoru ko te tari o Rupe kei raro. Tenei te tauira ka au ka mau ko te manu nui no ai ko te manu nui o Rupe ere tautoru ka ui ka rawe ai. That's our goal, as Korotaika would say. And so that's just a nice little taki which actually describes the different stars around Puanga and Tautoru and how they capture the bird of the year. So the KERERØ is the bird of the year, and closing out tonight, tēnei ka miti atu ki koutou o te rā ki tātou katoa, rire au, pai mārire.